podcast party. Descent into Avernus.
My name is Hylan. After defeating a werebore warlord named Ragadraga, my friends and I have made an uneasy alliance with a night hag named Mad Maggie. She's about to perform a ritual to help recover Lulu's lost memories.
Mad Maggie has offered you all seats around a small space that she has set up in the fashion of some kind of arcane ritual, which she has told you would hopefully bring back Lulu's memories. She has done this by drawing a circle, and in the 4 cardinal points of that circle has placed the 4 soul coins, from which she has obtained the 4 souls of the enemies that you have just beaten. She gestures at Lulu and says, "All right, you just sit there in the middle. 4 of you, so take a seat next to any of those soul coins."
We got to sit next to...
Why are we sitting next to soul coins?
Why must sit next to that?
Well, you want to be part of the ritual or not?
What's going to happen?
We're going to see Lulu's memories. I reckon we need to be close to be included in that. Is that right?
That's right. You got it. This will be part and parcel of the whole situation. Lulu's memories will go and they're going to pass through you. You got to close your eyes. And once you do that, all her memories, well, you'll be part of them. But just remember, they're just memories. They're not real. Although it may seem like it, they're just memories.
It ain't going to hurt Lulu, is it?
I don't believe so.
What do you think, Lulu? Are you ready to do this?
I'll be honest, I'm a little bit scared about this whole thing. But if this is the only way to do it, then how long is this gonna take, Maggie? Probably no more than about 10 minutes. You'll all be joined by this telepathic bond. If anyone leaves the circle, then we just gotta start all over again.
Corbin would like to watch Maggie as she's telling us this and see if he can tell if she's holding anything back, hiding anything, being sneaky.
Make an insight check.
That would be a 15.
She doesn't seem to be shifty about this. She actually seems to be kind of excited about what could happen.
I don't think we've got any choice, really.
Maggie, why do you want to do this?
I'll be perfectly honest. I'm a Zariel fangirl. I'll explain to you more. But I gotta do this ritual because time's running out. I gotta get this done.
You know her?
Well, not personally. I've never met the great Duchess herself, but I am a fan, as I like to say.
Okay, I go and sit down.
Yes, I sit too.
The 4 of you sit down at the circle, and Maggie starts to incant strange words. Words pleading for her own powers to take effect and to utilize all of your combined psychic energies to wrest the memories from Lulu and open her eyes to what might be. And as she initiates this ritual, you all begin to sense this telepathic bond forming between you all, as well as Lulu and Mad Maggie. I would like each of you to tell all of us just a glimpse of a memory that you all had that is going to be privy to everyone in the party.
Corbin is trying to not think of the soul coin in his pouch that Renascence knows about. So he's thinking about when he was a kid, and the only nice thing his sister ever did to him was they would go down to the river and they would skim rocks together. And they would try to see who could throw the rocks farther, their big, long bugbear arms. It's like the only time that he can remember that she was actually nice to him. So he's going to try to remember that over and over.
Hylan is not feeling great right now. She's having a hard time remembering why anything matters when things are so chaotic and there's so much evil here. So she remembers being at the Shrine of Suffering one day and seeing Renascence handing out soup to people, and how that was the first time she saw him, and that she was really touched by how he was interacting with the people and making them laugh. And she's remembering, he didn't know this, but she followed him home that night just to see where he lived and just was interested in him. And so she's remembering that.
You see the same memory from Renascence's perspective of seeing Hylan for the first time coming into the Shrine of Suffering. And immediately the first thing that Renascence thinks is, that's the sort of person who'll never notice me.
Ophelia's memory is of the first time she performed a solo. It was at a party her parents were throwing for their friends, and she was brought out with her violin to entertain them. She plays a few bars of a familiar folk tune of the elves, and as she watches the audience smiling back at her, she is filled with a sense of pride greater than she's ever felt before.
You see Mad Maggie. You see her stepping onto the hot and arid plains of Avernus, stepping through some kind of a glowing portal. And as she steps through, she looks up at the sunless sky and smiles with crooked teeth. Then she takes her goggles, puts them over her eyes, and points into the distance. And as she does so, from the portal stream a dozen or so of these creatures that you now know as red caps, hopping through, seeing this horrific plane of destruction and torture, and even they are sort of taken aback by this. As her memory finishes, you sense a brilliant flash of light with your eyes still closed, and then darkness. And then all of you have this sort of tingling sensation sweeping over your bodies as visions appear, as vivid as if your eyes were open. Vibrant rainbows appear, and you begin to see what you could only assume to be a vision of Lulu's memory. The rich, radiant light of 100 dancing rainbows slowly dissolves before you, and warm sunlight fills the area. You all now see each other standing in the same sort of distance that you were in this circle, this ritual circle. You all do not have the wounds that you have acquired thus far. Your armor and your clothes are completely whole. The horrid red clay-like detritus that has collected on you just from being in Avernus is no longer there.
Wow.
And in the middle of the four of you is Lulu. She's flying lazily in this lush meadow at the shoulder of a beautiful blindfolded angel. This angel is 8 feet tall and has blue hair and almost opalescent garments. And as the pair strolls through the tall green grass, not even acknowledging your presence, the voice of Mad Maggie fills your mind.
No, push through this vision. It only represents what Lulu wants, what she wishes were true. We need to see more.
I would like all of you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh boy, guys.
Ophelia rolled a 6 on her intelligence save.
Hylan rolled a 9.
Corbin rolled an 8.
Renascence got an 11.
I just want to stay exactly where this is, and
I think you found our Achilles heel.
You begin to feel exactly that, Hylan, like you wish you could just stay in this place forever.
Mm-hmm.
But it is Renascence who brings the four of you out of it. The recognition that this is just a wish of what could be, but you pass this test. It is then that this particular scene fades. As you now move to another scene, a flame-encircled battlefield appears before you on a barren hellscape. The broken bodies of the damned lie in twisted piles all around you. Severed limbs still twitch, and spilled guts susurrate, unwilling to accept that their immortal evil has somehow come to an end. Black ichor and crimson blood sizzle as the cracked ground seems to hungrily absorb them. This is what triumph in hell looks like. At the center of the circle, Lulu and this angel lie unconscious and prone, horribly injured. You see yourselves again, standing seemingly in defense of Lulu and the angel, facing outward as 6 small spine-covered devils creep closer. In the distance, a formation of battered and retreating human warriors disappears through a portal. Again, the hag's disembodied voice echoes,
The devils! The devils! You must defeat those devils!
Let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Ofelia rolled a 12.
Corbin rolled a 10.
Hylan rolled a 15.
Renascence rolled a 6.
Hylan, you're up in the order first.
Hylan hears Maggie say that, and she just immediately shings out the psychic blades and throws 2 of them at the spined devil in front of her.
All right.
That's a 22 to hit,
That will hit.
7 psychic for the first hit, and the second one, that's a 23 to hit.
That will also hit, obviously.
Great, and that's 9 psychic.
Very cool. Yeah, your 2 blades fly through the air and hit this creature, horribly wounding it twice. And it sort of snarls and begins to creep maybe a little faster towards you. Ofelia, you're up next.
Ofelia will run up to the devil nearest to her on her left, brandishing her rapier, will attempt to stab it right in the chest. 22 to hit?
That will hit.
That'll be 8 piercing damage to the devil.
Anything else?
I will just shift slightly so that I am facing the devil, but my back is not turned to the devils, that I can see through my periphery on other sides of me.
Moving on to Corbin Shiv.
Corbin's going to look back at the one that Hylan wounded, and he is going to cast Sacred Flame on that guy.
Dexterity saving throw.
Yep, DC 15.
Yeah, that's a 20.
I missed him. And then he's going to move 10 feet to the south, and he's going to say to the 2 on either side of him, "Come and get me," in Infernal. "Come and get me, you little dogs."
Make an intimidation check.
12.
Yeah, they sort of growl at you and snarl. Doesn't make them immediately sort of fly in a rage at you, but they're interested, shall we say. 3 of them will attack their nearest target with their tail spines. They're gonna throw their tail spines at their target, and then the other ones will just dive bomb the ones nearest them with their bite. And they're carrying, as you've seen them before, these 2-tined pitchforks. So let's go with Hylan. These will take 2 tail spine attacks at you.
Okay,
A 15.
a 15 is target.
That will do 3 piercing and 4 fire damage. But as you feel this thing enter your side, instead of taking fire and piercing damage, it actually comes through as psychic damage. So
Right.
your body back in Avernus, in the real world, is taking this sort of damage internally, but your mind is the recipient of the attack. So that is a total of 7 psychic damage on the first attack. All of these attacks, in fact, will be psychic, folks. That's a 10, which will miss.
Yes.
On Ofelia, this creature is engaged with you in melee, so it will make a bite and a fork attack. That's a 4, which will miss, and the fork is a 6, which will also miss.
Haha. I won't get too confident though. That's my like moderately confident laugh.
On Renascence, 2 tailspine attacks. An 11
Bounces off my armor.
and a 22.
That hits.
That is a total of 5 psychic damage. And it moves into engaged range. Does the same thing for you, Hylan. Corbin, you did a pretty good job of enticing these 2 foes to attack you, so they will do so. And they will go on either side of you and flank you. So their attacks will be at advantage. Bite and fork. So bite from the first one is a 15,
Missed it.
Yeah.
and the fork is an 8.
All right.
The second attack is a crit.
Oh, boy.
I was looking the other way. Shit.
That's a total of 13 psychic damage. And then the fork is a 10, which will miss.
It's me again.
Ooh.
One got me.
The last one will attack you, Hylan, with its tail spines. That's a 23 to hit.
That will hit.
That's 8 psychic damage.
Okay, I will uncanny dodge.
Very nice. And then the second tail spine is a 16.
That'll hit.
That's 7 psychic damage.
Okay.
I have a spine devil in my face. I pull out Heaven's Fall and I take a swing across its jaw. I got a 26, which I'm going to assume will hit.
Oh, yeah.
That did 7 bludgeoning and 4 radiant for a total of 11 damage.
Yes.
Awesome.
And I'm going to take a backswing. This time it is a 25.
All right.
And that will be 9 bludgeoning damage plus 1 radiant for a total of 10 damage.
Yeah, that second one almost takes its head clean off. It screams in agony, but it is still just barely alive.
That is my turn.
Top of the round, Hylan, you're up.
I'm going to flip the blade in my right hand so it's facing in a downward motion, and I'm going to stab the spine devil in front of me. 14.
14 will hit.
Excellent. That's 5 psychic, and then I will do the same with the left hand. That's a 16 to hit.
And that will hit as well.
That's 8 psychic.
You have the honor of first blood in this case.
Fantastic.
First kill, anyway. That devil, shrieking, flies in a circle, writhing in agony, and as it does so, it just turns to this sort of ash in midair, and then the rest of its body falls on the ground and is dead.
Excellent. I'm going to move 30 feet toward Renascence.
As I see her start to move towards me, I shout, "Corbin, help Corbin!"
I can still help Corbin. I can throw.
Ophelia, is your turn.
I will once again swing my silvered rapier at the spine devil in front of me. And that's an 11 to hit.
And 11 will unfortunately miss. It blocks your attack. It sort of like parries it almost like with its wing.
Corbin usually calls out Ilmater's name when he casts spells, but this time he's going to go, Lulu! And he's going to cast Word of Radiance around him. And I would like each of these guys to make a Constitution save throw.
Yeah.
Okay, they will have advantage on this. That is a 19 on the first one,
That's good.
and that is a 6 on the second one.
All right, he takes 5 points of radiant damage. I got one a little bit. Uh-oh. I have one spell. I got to save it. Nope, that's it.
All right, it is now for the Spine Devils to retort. The one that was sort of the outlier, the one who went last, will fly in to attack Renascence. Again, flanking him just as Corbin is flanked, and will attack with a bite and a fork attack. It sort of tries to munch down on your shoulder as you're facing Gargs towards the first one. First attack is an 11.
I swing Gargs around 180 degrees and block it.
All right. And then the fork attempts to sort of like come over the shield and right into your chest. That is a 19.
Still miss. I drop into a crouch and it swings over my head.
Very cool.
All right.
All right, the second one will come around for its 2 attacks. I'm missing you with a 6 and 21. That will do 5 psychic damage.
Yeah.
The one next to Ophelia will do the same to her. It sort of like looks away and sort of like sheepishly smiles at you and then launches into its attack. That is a 20 non-natural with its bite.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna hit.
That's 6 psychic damage, and then stabs its fork at you, doing nothing with a 4 to hit.
So it's another like haha, but it's more like haha.
2 attackers on one on either side of Corbin. They will do the same as what was done to Renascence with advantage. That's a 17 on its bite,
This scrapes right off my sheet.
and an 11 with its fork, and then the second one with its bite, a 19,
Oh, that got me. Just snuck through.
5 psychic, and a 12
Not even close.
to hit. That's their turn. Renascence, it is now yours.
I'm going to try to finish off my badly wounded first dance partner. Probably not with an 8.
No, that's a natural 1. Oof.
I take a second swing at him. This time it's a 20, non-natural.
That will hit.
And he's going to take 9 bludgeoning and 2 radiant for a total of 11 damage.
Yeah, you swat him like a fly, and he turns into paste.
All right.
I turn around to face the devil who'd swung down behind me, but that is my turn up.
After he sees what happened to his compatriot, he sort of has this look of intense worry and fear, potentially for the first time that you've seen on a devil's face. Its eyes sort of shift to Lulu for a second and then back to you. Hylan, is your turn.
All right, I see him look at Lulu. I swing around to flank this spine devil with Renascence, and I make 2 stabbing attacks. It's a 17 to hit.
That will hit.
Finally, sneak attack. That's 5 psychic and 13 sneak attack for a total of 18.
Ooh, big hit. This thing just screams in pain.
Yeah, you're not getting my Lulu. And then the next one is a 15 to hit.
That will hit.
That does 4 psychic.
That's all you needed. After Hylan offs this particular enemy, the scream of agony uttered by this creature echoes, and time seems to slow down. Fencing duel between Ofelia and this creature that she's taking on one-to-one. Corbin is attempting to try to do the best he can, being peppered from both sides. And then the scene sort of turns to blackness, and you are now in a completely separate landscape, one filled with thick black smoke, and the smells of death and decay expanding to encompass everything. The small devils that survived the previous dream kneel before you. These creatures kneel before you, Corbin, and before you, Ofelia. And they look up at you with pleading eyes, and in Infernal, they say,
"We will serve you. Spare us."
Time is still very slow, so I'm going to ask Ofelia and Corbin what it is that they want to do.
Can only Ofelia and Corbin hear that?
No, but your ability to converse, because this is a dream, has been shielded.
Ofelia looks at the devil. She sheaths her rapier. And she says, "I will spare you." In Infernal as well.
Corbin will put one of Ilmater's hands on each of them.
I will spare you.
Even slower than Corbin normally speaks, and he will spare them.
Lulu is not there. It is just this inky blackness at the edge of your vision that is surrounding all of you. You are not really in Avernus at all. Just devastation, darkness, and death. These creatures point their visages at the 2 who have saved them, nodding their heads, and then spreading their bat-like wings and take to the sky. This scene, this dreamscape, fades as well. You find yourselves in a void of tendrils of black sludge, which seem somehow animate, rising rapidly out of the ground and enveloping your feet and gripping you tightly, overwhelming you with a horrible sense of loss. I would like each of you to tell us a memory of things that you have lost in your past.
Renascence thinks of a bright morning just outside Insight Park on the cobblestone streets of Baldur's Gate. His brother, Thomas, screaming and clawing at the empty air, his eyes whirling in all directions as he's grabbed by each of his arms by an officer for the Flaming Fist and dragged away, his heels digging ruts in the mud at the side of the street, and dragged away from Renascence toward Cliffgate Hospital.
Hylan remembers being a small child in her bed, having these images from Melitium of Celestia and being taught how to create light and being told about all of the good she can do in the world. And then remembers the first time she saw somebody beaten in front of her and realizing that things weren't as simple as everyone doing their best and the world being basically a safe place, and that there is real destruction and danger out in the world. And so she remembers losing innocence.
Ofelia remembers the last time that she saw Azor alive. He's walked her to her home, and they share a sweet kiss before saying goodnight. Ofelia squeezes his hand and she says, "Goodbye, Azor. I'll see you tomorrow."
I can't wait that long, lassie. But I'll have to do.
And the memory fades as he walks away.
Corbin remembers a crowd of people around him throwing fruits and vegetables at him. And he was about to be beheaded, and his life was over. He was accepting that because he saw no way out, and he felt content, like, okay, done with all this. And then Sister Averly Hollow came out of the crowd, offered him to join the church to save his life. And he agreed, even though he really didn't want to, he agreed. He lost that moment where he was content and he just went down another path with another gang.
If there is a physical manifestation of despair, the four of you have been caught in it. Whether this manifestation has been assembled or created through the influence of Lulu and the very strong ties between the four of you, whatever that is, it's important enough that Mad Maggie's disembodied voice comes to the four of you again and says,
No, don't let the sludge consume you. Lulu, it's her. She must look.
I would like the four of you to make either athletics or acrobatics checks.
Oh, thank goodness. Hylan got a 22.
Renascence with an 18 on athletics.
Corbin with a 17 on athletics.
Ofelia has rolled a 9 on acrobatics.
The three of you see Ofelia in the corner of this dreamscape, and Ofelia is drowning in sadness. However, Ofelia, from the corner of your vision, you hear a shriek as a winged creature swoops down through the gloom and reaches towards you. Roll again with advantage.
With advantage, that is a 15.
That is target. You grab onto this scaly-armed creature, the nails digging into your flesh, and this perhaps former enemy, now ally, at least for the time being, has swooped in to help you pull free. You rise up, the four of you, floating into the air, almost as if driven from this sludge by elation and freedom from your own internal tethers, and feel this enormous sense of lightness. And you are then transported out of this miasma and onto yet another plane of existence. This is a much smaller one. You see Lulu resting on a black cushion at the center of an inky void. The only thing besides her are the four of you. Lulu is unconscious, and there's a brilliant beam of white light shining down upon her from an unknown source. And next to Lulu, there is a large, gleaming spyglass resting atop an ornately carved tripod.
I slowly reach out a hand and pat her on one of her arms, and I say, Lulu, can you hear me?
Her eyes begin to flutter. Her trunk moves and sort of moves on top of your hand, and her eyes open.
Lulu, Maggie says you've got to look. Do you know what that means?
She looks at you, and her eyes are full of confusion. She's in a place that she doesn't recognize. She looks at this enormous spyglass, and she sort of flutters over to it and presses one eye against the eyepiece. And then she gasps. And she flies back suddenly, eyes wide, mouth open, her face alight with excitement. And she cries out, "The sword! The sword! I think I know where it is!" And then the dream ends. Hi, everybody. The show will be back shortly for the second half. As always, we're offering monthly free online adventures with our Dungeon Masters. These free games fill up quickly, so if you'd like to grab a spot, you should join our email list or our Discord server. Links to both can be found at cast-party.com. If you enjoy Podcast Party, please follow the show, rate us, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. Message us on social media or email us at info@cast-party.com. Follow us on Facebook at CastPartyDND, on Twitter at CastParty2, on Instagram at Cast_Party, or on TikTok at Cast_Party. Thanks very much for listening. And now, back to our adventure in Avernus. Lulu is like flying circles. She's like, I found the sword. I think I got it. Oh, okay, yes.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Lulu, well done. I'm watching Maggie.
You can see this rictus grin of hers, and she just golf claps. She starts slowly clapping.
I knew you could do it. Nice.
And she just sort of hugs herself like she's feeling feelings that a night hag would feel.
You saw what we saw.
Oh, yes, I did. You all have such amazing agonies. Pure suffering. I could stay in there forever. It was like a long bath.
I'm glad somebody enjoyed it. Where are we heading?
Lulu, did you see where we need to go to find the sword?
Yes, I mean, I saw it. It looked like a hell. It was like a big crag. There was like a river of lava, and there were all these trees all over the place. There were things flying around the tree. I don't know.
And Maggie says,
Oh, darling, you don't remember a thing, do you? That's the hell. Harriman's hell.
and Lulu sort of stops flying around in a circle. And she says, Harriman? Maggie says,
Oh, you remember that name, don't you?
And Lulu tucks her wings behind her back and sits down on the ground.
What's Harriman's Hill?
You guys haven't been here for very long. I keep forgetting.
And she snaps her finger, and two red caps appear and swiftly salute and do a little sort of boot heel click. And she says,
Bring me the tapestry.
And the two giggle at each other and sprint off.
You don't know very much about this whole place. You're in hell. You haven't done your homework.
When we did the research in the library at Candlekeep on Zariel and the Hells, did the name Harriman come up at all?
I'll allow you guys to make history checks, but the DC's going to be very high.
Don't worry, I've got +0. Renascence did get a 19.
The name is familiar to you, Renascence, but not exactly sure.
Corbin got a 7.
Ofelia got a 9.
Hylan got a 7.
Yeah, I'd say of the four of you, Renascence, probably the name does sound familiar. But yeah, no, the name is not immediately familiar to you.
Maggie, tell us.
She waits for the two redcaps to come prancing back with this enormous tapestry, which she rolls out in front of you. What you see before you is a piece of cloth illuminated by 5 quite frightening depictions, as Maggie calls out what these 5 scenes mean.
The first picture,
which you see is a beautiful winged angel with a blindfold, leading a group of soldiers into battle.
This is definitely the same angel that we saw with Lulu in the vision.
100%. She says,
That's Lord Zariel. While she was still an angel, she was a force to be reckoned with, brazen and fierce, a defender of the light. She championed justice, whatever the hell that's supposed to look like.
And then she points to the second picture, and it is a battle. Zariel fighting alone against scores of fiends. Maggie says,
This is the Hell Ride itself. Oh, brave, bold, and foolish, if you ask me. Many mortals died that day. A bunch managed to escape by some miracle.
The third picture she points to is the angel, defeated, kneeling before a red-robed form. The face of this red-robed figure has been burned off, And Maggie sort of very furtively puts her hand over this picture and says,
Many thought Zariel gave her life to save the mortals.
but, and she gulps,
Asmodeus, ruler of the 9 hells, offered her a seat of power here in Avernus. Blasted Redcaps played with fire and burned his face, but if you're meeting Asmodeus, you're probably goners anyway.
and she gives the Redcaps a nasty look. She then moves her hand to the 4th picture, which is a very different depiction of this same angel who has lost her blindfold, lost her illuminated, beautiful presence, and is now a pale-skinned fiend with reddish armor, completely bald, and where her beautiful halo was, now there is only a halo of fire. And she is kneeling and stretching out her hand towards a figure who seems to be rising from the very depths of the river Styx itself. And Maggie says,
Now, when Zariel became a Duchess of Hell, she got the service of 2 of her top mortal generals. That,
and she points to the figure rising from the river, a figure whose face you cannot see, but who is completely sheathed in jet black armor,
is Haruman, who she drew from the river Styx personally. The other one was named Olanthius. I hear she had to persuade him to serve her.
And then finally, the 5th picture, the fiendish angel standing triumphant, again now with this fiery halo, with 2 figures raising their swords in service to her.
And that's them, the trio, Zariel, Olanthius, and Haruman. One little happy family.
And she smiles and looks at you.
When she said the Redcaps burned the face on Asmodeus, was she lying?
Make an insight check.
Corbin rolled an 8.
Can't tell.
So the vision that we saw of Zariel and Lulu lying unconscious where we had to fight off those devils, we saw some humans retreating into a portal. That was the end of the Hell Ride.
Yep.
They left her.
Well, I guess it depends on your point of view.
What's her point of view?
Never had a chance to ask her, but she sure does carry a grudge.
And this one, I point to the figure climbing out of the Styx. Haruman. He was also a Hell Rider, one of her lieutenants.
That's right, Haruman and Olanthius.
So her sword is now on Haruman's hill.
Well, that's what Lulu saw. Isn't that the truth, Lulu?
And she sort of like grabs Lulu's cheek and gives it a little squeeze, and Lulu sort of gently removes Maggie's hand and says, I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah.
Maggie, you believe Haruman to be alive and on that hill?
Oh, I've seen him myself.
And what do you know about the other one, Olanthius? He didn't want to do it?
Nah, not so much.
Oh, I missed that one. And Maggie sort of points to the picture that's housed between the picture of Haruman and the 3, Zariel, Olanthius, and Haruman. And she points directly at this picture of a pietà.
Mm-hmm.
It is Zariel holding a figure who is wreathed in flame. But this figure he is not clothed in black armor. He is in some way very pitiful looking, but he is on fire.
Is this her converting him?
Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
It looks more like convincing him.
Like torturing him?
We all gotta do what we all gotta do to get what we want done.
Do we?
She smiles at you.
It looks like each of the heroes has a different sword. Know anything about that?
Oh, that one? Yeah.
She points over at the sword that's hanging over the scene for Haruman. And this is a very wicked looking blade. It's got sort of flanges at the edges of it. And the one over Olanthius has sort of a curved tip to it.
In the first 2 portraits, Zariel has her sword, blue crystalline sword. And in the 3rd image, where she's meeting Asmodeus, I think she ain't got the sword anymore.
Very astute.
So that's because Lulu's taken it, yeah?
I guess so. Is that right, Lulu?
Lulu looks at Maggie and says, I remember taking the sword and making this big palace over it, and then the palace fell into the earth and, well, into hell. And yeah, I guess, because Zariel told me, well, actually it was Yael, actually, technically, to save the sword.
And in the last one, she's got this big hammer. You know what that is?
You don't know what a hammer is?
I mean, I know what it is, but does it have some magical properties or?
Oh, I'm sure that thing does divine justice, as she probably would have called it. Except not from the other end of things.
Also looks like she's holding some kind of censer or incense in her other hand.
As you look closely, you see that indeed Zariel holds in her right hand an enormous, what probably would be a two-handed, Thor-like warhammer with enormous weights on both sides of them. Something that a normal human being would have enormous troubles just lifting. And then you look in her left hand, and her left hand, as you look closely, has been completely severed. That there is no hand there at all. There is a chain that has dropped out of her wrist, at the end of which is some kind of flail or hanging weight, like a censer, though, yes.
Is it like a religious, like an incense kind of thing, or is it more like a weapon?
Both.
In the third depiction, Asmodeus is holding her left hand, as if this was part of
The deal.
that she is his instrument.
Yeah, she is missing that hand in all the subsequent images, and there's fire coming out of the stump in the image where she's torturing one of her lieutenants.
She's also pulling off a blindfold in the third one.
Yeah.
She's looking at him.
Mm-hmm. She knows what she's doing.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Maggie says.
Why would you let your red hat guys burn it then?
Oh, I'm sure they'll get what's coming to them after. Don't you worry none.
And then she rolls up the tapestry and tosses it to the waiting redcaps, who catch it, not giggling anymore, that's for certain. And then they run off.
Well, at least we know our destination. Well done, Lulu. Thank you for doing that. It's helpful.
Thank you. You helped me as much as I helped y'all.
How are you feeling, Lulu?
I'm a little worried, but I guess I'll be all right.
I know you will, Lulu.
After that battle and those dreams, I don't think we're in condition right now to set out for this Harriman's Hill. But we should rest up, and then we should get going.
Maggie did say we could rest here.
Oh yeah, you clearly walked here. So you know of Avernus' heat and what I consider to be very pleasant, but you would probably consider corruptive influence. So yeah, unless you have like a magical shelter, good luck on getting a proper sleep on the plains.
So happens that maybe we do, right, Corbin?
I think I can come up with something.
Well, you done me a solid, so I mean, I can certainly let you stay here. No problem.
Do you care where we stay?
Nah, just don't get into trouble. I've had enough of that for one day. Now I gotta fix my gate. God damn it.
And she sort of hitches up her skirts and she says,
You go ahead and take your little nappy naps.
and she sort of like lets the spittle fly all over the ground.
And just come to me when you're ready.
I say to Wizen, can you drive that? I point to the ragga wagon.
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, no problem.
You still wanting to change of scenery?
Listen, I've been working for Maggie for about, I can't really tell anymore, a long time. And I'm good taking my chances on the open road.
Corbin, what do you think about maybe setting up the hut right on top of or next to that ragga wagon? I'd rather not have any stowaways, if you know what I mean.
That's what I was thinking, right on top, and we can sleep around it or under it or on top of it, whatever you guys like.
Corbin would like to sit on the top of the middle of the ragga wagon and ritually cast Liamon's tiny hut. And he'll let all of his friends in, obviously Lulu, and he'll let Wizen in as well.
Yeah, that's 6 people. You have room for 3 more.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Damn. During the 8 hours that you guys rest, dozens of redcaps converge on the main gate and attempt, not unsuccessfully, just taking a little bit of effort and time, and a lot of pulleys and occasionally the gate falling on a redcap or 2 and splatting them, to have the gate reinstalled in the front.
All right, we'll still do watches just in case.
I'll take first watch.
I'll take second.
Corbin will take third.
You don't notice anything out of the ordinary. So your 8 hours pass successfully, and you guys are good to go.
Wizen,
Yeah.
what does it run on? I thumped the hull of the Raga wagon.
Oh, well, all infernal machines, they all run on soul coins.
Fuck.
How long does it last if you put it in?
Yeah, so like a soul coin, it's got like 3 charges. And anyone can use any one of those 3 charges to get some extra health back. You could even talk to the soul inside the coin if you really want to. But it's only going to know what it's going to know. You could even free the soul in the coin. It's really hard to do it, but you can. You toss it into some place that's going to destroy the coin. Coins are made different level of hell. There's
Where?
a devil named Mammon. He's kind of like the guy in charge of, well, it's hell's treasury. He mints them with the initials of all the archdevils. So like Z for Zariel and Infernal, M for Mammon, A for Asmodeus, etc., etc. If you destroy the coin, the soul just sort of it comes out of it. So I mean that's good to know. Even if the soul has has done evil things, you destroy the coin. It's actually a pretty good thing to do. Coins are really used around here as currency. Besides using them to fuel the infernal vehicles, you could use them to trade between devils. Devils love them. I mean, that's kind of what they're all about, right? Souls, etc. And you can use them to fuel the infernal vehicles.
It must be one in there, right?
Did we find any on Raga Draga?
You did not.
While we're in the hut, can we search the wagon to see if we
Yeah,
can
we should
find...
search the wagon.
Make investigation checks.
Corbin rolled a 7.
Got 1 on guidance, so don't worry. That'll help when I roll a natural 20.
Hey!
I did get a natural 20, plus 1 is a 21.
Renascence, you're the first person who finds that there is a secret compartment in the Raga wagon. And in that secret compartment, you find I guess you could call it a pouch, although it's definitely not made out of any leather that you've ever seen. It's sort of lighter and
Skin.
it sure looks like it. Yeah, I'd say it's kind of humanoidy looking skin. I mean, there's no ears or
Love
noses
that.
or anything like that, but like you see a freckle. But within that particular pouch, you do find 3 soul coins, all stamped with an infernal letter of Z.
Well, we should take those.
Well, we're taking the whole vehicle.
Right.
Wizen, do you have any weapons or armor or anything?
Don't really have ever had the need for them here.
All right, here, take this. And I give him my sister's Morning Star.
He says, yeah, I mean, I've really kind of, and he just points to his forepaws, because I mean, he is a Loxodon. He says, kind of just use these, sort of balls them up into fists.
All right, well, take this, and if you have to, just smash something with it.
I'm cool with it. He sort of like pushes it back to your direction. Don't really know how to use it. I'd probably just hurt myself.
It's all right, Wizen. If you don't carry weapons, people will see that you mean them no harm, and they'll never ever hurt you.
That's a great joke.
If you wouldn't mind sort of giving her an inspection, make sure that everything's in working order.
Yeah, sure, no problem. He sort of clambers up on top of the Raga wagon and starts checking out all the various levers and steering apparatuses.
Wasn't there a harpoon gun or something on it?
The Demon Grinder itself has stations. Obviously, there's the driving station, which will be manned, at least until further notice, by Wizen.
It has a chomper.
Yep. You see that the front of the Demon Grinder literally has teeth, like giant metal teeth. On the back is the Wrecking Ball and 2 harpoon flingers. So that is 5 stations. Helm, chomper, Wrecking Ball, and 2 harpoon flingers.
If nobody has any objections, I'm going to be in the Wrecking Ball position.
It's fine with
that
me.
sounds fine. I'll man a harpoon flinger since I'm used to that sort of thing.
There's a chomper and another harpoon flinger, and
Corbin says, whichever one you like, they're all really pretty amazing.
I think I'd like the chomper. Is that all right?
Are you going to sit out front and play music as we chomp people?
Would you like me to?
Yes, please.
Then I will.
Awesome.
Ophelia, remember the paint I bought you?
Oh, yes.
Can you paint Ragawagon on the side of it?
Well, sure. And she paints Ragawagon on the side.
As the 4 of you sort of test out the Ragawagon, get into your particular spots, Wizen says, all right, so who's got the soul coins?
In the glove compartment. Point to the secret hatch there.
He sort of leans over, opens the secret compartment, pulls out the pouch of human skin, and out tumble 3 enormous soul coins. And he sort of looks at them and goes, okay, yeah, that one Oh man, this one has got 1 charge left on it. That's fine. Puts that one off to the side. This one's got 2 charges, and this one has got all 3. I mean, it makes a difference. 1 charge is for 24 hours, 2 for 48, and 3 for 72 hours of the vehicle itself.
How far to Harriman's Hill, Lulu?
Lulu looks at you and says,
I don't know. I think it's kind of close, but I would ask directions. But I guess in Avernus, things are weird with directions around here. The places that you want to go, sometimes you don't necessarily end up at. But we've got Wizen.
oh yeah, I take the vehicles out for joyrides every once in a while just to test them out. So I think I have the general idea of where the hill is.
Oh, good.
Brilliant. Right. Anyone have anything that they're needing to take care of here in Fort Knucklebone before we depart?
Could I just talk to you privately for a second, Ren?
Yeah, let's hop out.
So we'll hop out, walk off to the side.
You know that pig? He stabbed me or poked me here.
Yeah.
I show him the wound.
And it healed, and it hurt. Well, it also feels good, which is weird because it's a wound. I got a funny feeling. I don't know what it is. I've gotten hurt lots of times, right? But this one seems odd. You're the smartest person I know, so I thought maybe you'd know what it was.
Yeah, well, if he clawed into you, could be an infection. Do you feel ill?
Well, it's hot here, so other than that, no.
Maybe just to be safe. I'm going to lay hands on him for 5 hit points, which would cure disease.
You place your hand on the scarred over wound, and power flows through you into Corbin. Corbin, you feel this warm, gentle, almost like a breeze flow through you, and this tingling sensation flow out from Renascence's arms. And it passes through you.
Right.
And you don't feel any different.
Right, all better. I slap him on the shoulder.
I think I'm okay. I think I'm good.
You sure?
I feel the same. Is that good? I don't know.
Let me take a look at the wound again. Can I make a medicine check on him, maybe?
Sure.
Guidance myself. 5 with guidance.
I mean, it looks like a scarred over wound. You've seen
Yeah.
dozens of them in your life.
Well, listen, Corbin. Let me know if anything changes, if you're feeling queasy or like there might something still be wrong, because I think it's fine, mate. I think you're going to be, I don't see any problem. Should just heal up nice and normal. But I do have this scroll. It does turn out to be something nastier. Might be able to help you out with it.
What is it?
Don't worry about it. Just let me know if things get any worse.
All right. Corbin will look at the scroll.
I have a scroll of remove curse, which is what I'm showing.
Oh, Corbin knows that spell.
Oh, I don't need this. You keep it. I could just do that.
Oh, well, if you're cursed. I'm not saying you are.
What, I'm cursed?
But no, I'm not saying that.
Corbin just
I'm just
screams that
saying-
out loud.
I'm just saying if you don't.
Okay, I heard
we
that.
heard
and
that.
I'm walking over there.
You're passive. Like, if you had a passive perception of 2, you'd probably hear it. And everyone, like, all the red caps turn towards you. Like, Maggie hears you. Mickey hears you. Like, everyone's like, huh?
I'm not cursed. Why would I be cursed?
Well, it's hell. You got a man boar gored you.
So?
It ain't a disease because that didn't fix you.
Okay, have we never heard of were creatures
Corbin
before?
didn't. He failed his.
Yep.
Okay, so when we hear him say, "What am I cursed?" I think I would run over there. Ophelia, you probably would as well, right?
Yes.
And we're going to say, "What do you mean, are you cursed?"
I'm not cursed. He said I was cursed. I thought he
Why
was my
would you
friend.
say
Might
that?
be. I said there was a slight chance that he's cursed.
And why?
In what way?
Wizen slowly starts to get off the vehicle. He's like, well,
It's all right,
I'm going to go
Wizen.
ahead and...
Nobody's cursed. Nobody's cursed.
It's cool. Listen, I kind of went with this whole, like, hey, you guys want to, let's go on an adventure. And now
Now
you're
you're
like,
scaring
oh, I'm
Wizen.
cursed. Yeah.
You're scaring Wizen. I'm just
How
saying.
do you know he's not cursed?
Well, because I'm just saying if he was cursed, hypothetically,
Right.
we could fix him with this. And I hold up my scroll.
Right.
But he says even that turns out not needed because he can do it himself.
I can. I got magic. I could just do it right now.
I'm just.
Why
do it.
don't you
Why
do
don't
it
you
right
just do
now?
it? Just do it. Just have a go.
Oh, this is the parachute conversation all over again, isn't it?
Well, that turned out rather well.
I
didn't it?
maintain that would have worked.
It would not have worked. We all would have plummeted to our death and been cursed too.
We'll see. Next,
One glorious
Might
second.
not be the last time we have to get down from a high place, Corbin. We may circle back on that. But for now,
I think it's worth casting just in case. You're probably not cursed, but if you are cursed, I'd rather you weren't anymore.
Yeah, we're about to get in this car and go outside, and we don't know what we're going to face. If you think you're cursed and you can fix it, let's just do it.
Wizen is already pretty
worst case
skittish.
scenario, double not cursed.
All right, how about we take a vote? I vote I'm not cursed.
I vote you are cursed.
Damn it!
I'm with Ofelia.
Yeah, you might be cursed, mate.
3-1.
All right, Corbin will cast Remove Curse on himself. It was
Okay.
math.
You cast the spell Remove Curse on yourself, Corbin. And as you do so, all of you watch, since his sleeves are still open and he hasn't turned them back down again, to see that this wound on your arm, Corbin,
Right.
slowly but surely dissipates.
See,
Great.
See, it's
Definitely
nothing.
was cursed. You
no,
were
no,
definitely
As
cursed.
I suspected.
not
Yeah.
cursed.
All right, Wizen, put a coin in the slot.
Well, that's a question for y'all. I mean, I got a 24-hour, a 48-hour, and a 72. If I pop one in there, it's gone. So it's either, 1 charge, 2 charge, 3 charge. You let me know.
Let's start with one.
Use the 24-hour and hope we get there.
Does Maggie know how far it is?
Kind of seems like space is relative in Avernus, if I'm reading Wizen correctly.
Yeah, that's correct. Because there's no north, there's no south, there's no day, there's no night. You just sort of go in the direction that you remembered it being, and maybe you'll get there and maybe you won't.
Wizen said he's seen it before and knows generally where it is. I'd say that's probably as good as we're going to get.
Maybe he's cursed.
I mean, I am, because I'm here right now.
All right, let's just go.
Just take it easy for a bit, Corbin. You've been cursed all day. Just have a rest.
Stupid pig. I don't like the pig.
Well, you don't have to. He's gone now.
So Wizen takes the one that he designated as the sort of 24-hour one-charge soul coin, and he looks around the steering wheel for a second, sort of like looks to the left, oh, there it is. Yep, found it. And there is a small slot about 5 inches from top to bottom. And he places the soul coin, and you hear... And as this soul coin hits what you could only assume to be the internal furnace of this vehicle, the vehicle hums to life, more like growls to life, as smoke starts to billow out of the front of the engine, and fire spells itself from the internals underneath the Raga Wagon. And that isn't, unfortunately, the most disturbing thing about this vehicle. But that when the soul coin hits the furnace and is immediately destroyed, you all hear the most heart-wrenching cry of agony. And it echoes out over the plains of Avernus, far beyond Fort Knucklebone. And as it does so, Maggie closes her eyes and licks her lips.
I never, ever want to stop hearing that sound.
Get us out of here.
Wizen sort of takes his enormous goggles, puts them over his eyes, fastens his seatbelt, because even in hell, you need a seatbelt, and says, sorry, there's no seatbelts for the rest of you. Hold on. And then grabs the gear lever, puts it into reverse. There is no beeping sound, because in hell, you don't need to let people know that you're running over them. And then makes an immense U-turn. There's enormous dust clouds that fill the entire span of Fort Knucklebone as the tires crunch on the gravel and silt and dirt and nails and bone.
Punch it, Wizen.
Wizen smiles as the redcaps run to the gate to throw them open, and the demon grinder, the Raga Wagon, thunders out of Fort Knucklebone into the plains of Avernus. Thanks for listening. This episode featured Tal Aviezer as Renascence, Andy Cannistra as Painbearer Corbin Shiv, Carolyn Fox as Hylan, Rachel Tamarin as Ofelia, and me, Matt Gordon, as the Dungeon Master. This episode was edited by Carolyn Fox and Tal Aviezer. Our original theme music is by Lauren Anker and Anthony DiMasso. Remember, if you enjoy Podcast Party, please follow the show, rate us, and leave us a review. Thanks very much for listening.
Right, and Corbin will jump on the other harpoon flinger.
For a second there, I thought you said a harpoo flinger.
Or that.
That's a monkey's death grinder thing. I don't know what.
Are you having a stroke?
Jesus Christ.
Everyone shut up. It's been a long day.
That's a monkey death. That's a monkey death.
Monkeys throw their poop. That's the joke I was trying to make. It just didn't quite land.
Yep.
You guys are so mean.
Rachel, I didn't say anything. Did you notice
I did notice that, Carrie. Thank you.
You thought it, though.